Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news as Amorim takes the blame, gives out the blame. Why are we playing the blame game? There's only one set of people to blame and I don't think it's Ruben Amorim or the players when it comes to job cuts or tactics. We'll talk about that. Also, Favel has been given the job full-time. There's talk of Osimhen wanting to come to Manchester United. There's even a story that Napoli would take Rasmus back as well. Quite a few bits to get into on the show tonight. Incredible, actually, some of the stuff that's still coming out of the football club today. We'll cover all of that, as well as Amorim's comments himself. Ex-players blaming him again. Everything's his fault, apparently, according to some people, and still the tactic stuff as well. Lots to get into. And look, I've got to say, we will cover this off. This is scary that Ruben Amorim in another press conference is putting the blame onto the football team for job cuts. I don't know. I tweeted this afternoon, Ruben Amorim's got my full support. He's the only positive thing about that club at the moment, but he's playing a dangerous game being a mouthpiece for Ineos and the Glazers because he's clearly exposing himself as not knowing what's going on. And as a manager of Man United, you should just say, that's got nothing to do with me. I'm here to manage the team. He shouldn't be embracing sacking people and taking that on his responsibility. If I was a player and I'd heard this again, that as a player, I'm responsible for the sackings, I'd be getting a bit pissed off with it because they quite clearly aren't. From the messages we're getting, these people are meant to be being sacked because we don't need them. And now we're hearing they're being sacked because we've been crap on the pitch. It's one or the other. You can't have your cake and eat it. So we'll talk about that, all this tactical stuff as well, and a few other bits. A bit early tonight because I'm going to be on That's Football for the 7:30 game. So that's why we're a little bit early. But before we get into everything, don't forget we're sponsored. But where's my goodie bag? Here it is. My Manscaped goodie bag. I've got my beard trimmer. I've got my lawn mower. I've got my handyman. And I've got my weed whacker. All in one bag. Can be yours as well with 20% off using the code TUS20 and going through the link in the description. Precision engineering for your family jewels, but they've got the Beard and Balls bundle, which is the hedge trimmer, the beard hedge and beard hedger and the lawn mower. Both waterproof, skin-safe technology. Got a light on it for you as well. But it's free worldwide shipping and 20% off with the code TUS20. That's TUS20, 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Trusted by 2 million men worldwide. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. The global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. Fantastic products. I've been using them for years now, haven't I? I mean, they are very, very good quality. And I know a lot of you have tried it as well. Make sure you check it as well. Zoom Wheel offers 20 lengths for a smooth finish on the beard hedger as well, which is absolutely fantastic. Check it out. Your skin will thank you, and so will everyone else. Thanks very much to Manscaped. Links in the description. Scan the QR code, TUS20 the code. Let's get on with the show. TUS goes live with Sir Jim at Mark's stand-up desk, says M. Parker. Well, where do I want to start tonight? Look, I'll start off with Amorim to blame. I do want to talk about Amorim's comments about him and the players being responsible for job cuts. It's incredible, but let's have a change of direction a little bit because I did hear two things today. First of all, I heard Paul Scholes talking about tactics again, and he was basically saying, look, at the end of no, I won't do the accent. At the end of the day, when we played in Europe, we were quite boring under Sir Alex because we used to play a 4-5-1, but we were used to a 4-4-2. And it helped us get some results in the Champions League, and we did quite well. We had to adapt to the Champions League, and that's what we did away from home. He's right. I remember that. I've said that on this channel before. Sir Alex Ferguson came up with a different way of playing away from home in Europe because he wanted to win the Champions League. So he changed the way that we played away from home. Still obsessing about a tactical change, still talking about a tactical change, Paul Scholes, as are many other ex-players. Paul Merson, I mean, I don't really respect him, but he says, Ruben Amorim is the problem. The three at the back isn't working the way he'd planned, so he should change it. I mean, I feel like we're banging our head up against the brick wall here, so I thought I'd just come in with some logic rather than the nonsense that we have to keep putting up. They're like a dog with a bone. They just won't let it go, will they? They're obsessed with this tactical change that has got no logic to it at all. At all. Ruben Amorim has played this tactic all his career as a manager, and people won't shut up about him changing it. I've never heard such shit in all my life. I don't know whether people here like snooker, but there's a snooker player called Ronnie O'Sullivan. And if Ronnie O'Sullivan is going through a bad patch in snooker, does he start playing boring snooker like Peter Ebdon? You know, taking his time on his shots, playing safety shots? No, he plays the way Ronnie O'Sullivan wants to play. And he'll keep doing it until he plays through the bad form. It's the same with Ruben Amorim. What person sits there thinking he's got to change his tactics? It's not what we brought him here for. If he changes his tactics, we may as well sack him and he may as well quit. He's here because of his style of play. Yes, he's a hipster coach. Yes, Ineos appointed him. Yes, I wanted him. But he can't change his tactics. And I'm hearing people say, well, what he should do is he should stop doing what he wants to do for a few months, get some good results, and then go back to what he wants to do. And then when he goes back to what he wants to do and it goes wrong again, people will say go back to what he was doing before. Like, it's not working because they're not used to it and they're probably not the players that can play it. It's not him who needs to change. But you know what makes me laugh? And if you saw it on Twitter today, you'll already know this. But since the turn of the year, so since January the 1st, you know, people keep talking about it's not working. He needs to change. It's not working. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know how their brain works, but it needs to change. It's not working, okay? So it needs to change. It's not working. I did write this down somewhere because it's very interesting. And here we go. So since the turn of the year, it needs to change and it's not working. We've had 6 wins, 2 draws and 3 losses. Not working though. Needs to change. Got to change it. Not working. Yeah. Stop doing it. Not working. Stop it. Yeah. 6 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. I mean, it's not really indicative of not working, is it? And, you know, in the 8 games before Ten Hag got sacked, Ten Hag had 1 win, 5 draws, and 2 losses. So, it's not working with Amorim. It's not working. 5 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. But the back 4 under Ten Hag with his players, 1 win, 5 draws, 2 losses. And Paul says we've played in bad games though. Mate, we've played Arsenal, we've played Liverpool, we've played Spurs. I feel like we've played somebody else that's hard in that run as well. Like, you know who Ten Hag was playing in his last 8 games? Spurs at home, not Spurs away. Villa away was his toughest game, and we drew 0-0, and I nearly fell asleep. His one win was Brentford at home, which I was at, thank you. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Man City's one of those games as well. So it's incredible that we have people saying it's not working, he needs to change it. They can't even be asked to research what's happened this year. And you know what they want to change it to? They want us to change to Ten Hag's back 4, where we had 1 win in his last 8 games. Go back to a system that the players are comfortable with. Yeah, go back to a system, Jeff. Go back to a system that the players are comfortable with. Yeah, let's go back to a system that the players are comfortable with, where they got 1 win in 8. Let's go back to that. Absolute pillocks. Morons. You know? You know what I'm saying? They are absolute morons. It makes no sense at all to go back to a system that the players were comfortable with, that were bought for that system, and we had worse results. Incredible. And can I just say as well, remember, that was a team that had Anthony, had Rashford, had a fit Ahmad, had Mason, well, not Mason Mount, forget that one. Edit that out. But this was a team that was built by Ten Hag with players that he wanted, with Rashford, with Anthony, and it was still getting worse results than what we've had this year with a manager that hasn't got his own players, that has shipped out Rashford and Anthony, that has now got injuries, and he's still doing better since the turn of the year than Ten Hag was doing from the start of the season to there. So I don't know what they're talking about. It's not working. I don't know what they're talking about going back to the old system. They're at the mental, you know what? They wouldn't even get sat down if they had a chat with this community. They'd be buried. They wouldn't even have a response. It's incredible. You definitely watched Rainbow as a kid. I loved it, Carlos. And it's like giving a plumber a load of cable and asking him to do your new bathroom, then insisting he has everything he needs. Not Amorim's fault, says Dan. What's the updated goals per shot, says Robert McCormack? I don't know. Pundits point to changing the tactics because they only do surface level analysis. They need to say something, so they talk about tactics. I absolutely agree with you, Patrick. And I'm so bloody bored of it. I mean, this is what they spew out on the radio, on the mainstream. It's crap. It's absolutely crap. And I'm so grateful that we have a community like this where we can actually speak intelligently and honestly, because I'm so bored of hearing about we've got to change the tactics, it's not working. I mean, this is hot on the heels of not actually losing a game either. This is hot on the heels of coming back from 2-0 down against one of the informed teams in the Premier League at the moment, who'd won 4 of their last 5 and are 2-0 up at half-time at home. We come back to 2-2. We didn't lose the game because of tactics. We weren't 2-0 down because of tactics. We were 2-0 down because of lazy-ass players who've been doing it for years. So I'm bored of that. But I just wanted to bring it in because I think some of you do get brainwashed by it's not working. We're doing really, really bad. Since the turn of the year, we've lost 3 games, we've won 6 games, and we've drawn 2 games. It's not brilliant, but it's not actually terrible either. Slow Sports News says, the only thing that needs to change is certain fans' expectations. This is why we are stuck in this rut. Ten Hag had the same formation as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And it does take time. Of course it does. It will take time. Let's talk about, very, very quickly, I just want to talk about Fivel. Christopher Fivel will now report to Jason Wilcox in a permanent position. He will be head of some sort of recruitment, primarily probably younger players. Look, in a world of shit, this is not a bad appointment. I mean, look, time will tell, but I think not everything will be bad about Manchester United, and I quite liked the idea of Fivel in the first place. I think why I like Fivel might be very different to why Ineos like Fivel. I mean, they will like Fivel because he will buy young players that they can sell for profit. It's a money-making thing. I like Fivel because he's very good at recruiting young players, and you would hope that you would unearth another Ronaldo or something like that. Obviously, Ineos never seem to shut up about pure profit on young players, so what better appointment than one of the best recruiters of young talent in European football? I don't trust Ineos, as you know, so I actually don't think that this is necessarily going to work out that well for us in the future, but time will tell. But he is a good appointment, and I think it is a little bit of positivity in a time where, you know, not everything's going to be bad, is it? But I'm quite happy with that. Grand Admiral says, don't forget about the crybabies crying for style of play that Ten Hag didn't have according to the tactic noobs. Amorim has a style of play and they cry about that now. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, it's a great point as well. Thank you very much for your super chat, but it's a great point. This time last year, all you heard Neville and co talk about was, where's the style of play? Where's the style of play? We now have a style of play that's going to take time for people to get used to. Abandon the style of play and go back to what the players were comfortable with. I mean, oh my God, this lot couldn't sit straight in bed. They've got more faces than a townhouse clock. They're absolutely ridiculous. They can't even see how they ridicule themselves on a regular basis. A year ago, they were moaning about style of play. We've now got a manager with a style of play who it's going to take time to learn it, and they're going, go back to what the players are used to, which was not having a style of play in a back four. It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. Anyway, let's move on. Right, lots going on with Manchester United at the moment. I'm hoping that the momentum will grow. Things will happen with the fan base. Just a little bit of a spoiler, the United Stand fan survey that we're going to do is it's probably going to be like a part 1, because we want to utilise this information that you're going to give us in a really public way. So some of the questions that will be in this survey will be things like, what would you like to see happening with Old Trafford, but also 4 options on what you think would be the most effective to cause pressure on the Glazers. There'll be things about sponsors. There'll be things about do you have faith in certain aspects of the club? 10 questions it will be. This is going to go out to all of you. All we would say is, so we can mail it out to all of you, please sign up for our newsletter, which I think is in the video description and it's in the live chat. We've solved the problem with email confirmation now. I know a lot of people were not getting email confirmation. That's been solved now. So if you didn't get one, try it again. Links in the video description. They're going to go out by the end of the week, and we should have the results of that within a couple of days that we can discuss on a show. So I'm excited about it because I think I know what this community is, and I don't trust Manchester Evening News or Manchester United Football Club when they're doing a survey. I just don't. And maybe that's unfair, but I don't. Whereas with this, we've got total control of it, and we'll have access to everybody's answers, which we will share and show you on the screen as well. So, and I think some of the questions are quite hard hitting as well. Reflective to the fan base as well. But obviously there is a lot going on at the moment, and Ruben Amorim was asked today about the job cuts, and this is what he said. He said that of course all the problems in the club need addressing, but one important piece of this moment is understand how we got to this situation. And it has a lot to do with the lack of success of the football team, because I think we are the engine of any football club. And I just want to help improve the club in my department to improve the team and the players to have success. Effectively, that was about redundancies and saying that we've got to understand how we're an important part in why this hasn't worked. And it has a lot to do with the lack of success on the football team. Now, he basically said this when he was asked about redundancies a couple of weeks ago. It might have even been a week ago as well. I just heard it. I was listening to the show that Beth was doing about it. And I don't know what your thoughts are, but this is the second time he's sort of put the blame on players for people getting the sack. Now, a lot of these players know these people who are getting sacked. And when I say sacked, some people quite rightly said they're not getting sacked, they're being made redundant. Redundant, I don't think there's much of a difference, to be honest with you. If you're being made redundant, you don't have a say. You're losing your job. So sacking could be because you've done something wrong. Redundancy is because they're removing your role, so you get a bit of a payoff. But your job's still not there. It's basically the same as Samuel says, and it's open for interpretation, but I feel the same about that. But I've got to say, I'm not the players' biggest fan. Collectively, I don't like that dressing room. I like individuals, but as a collective dressing room, it's been a shower of shit for years. But one thing I will defend them on is I would not like that being said by my manager, that I was in some way, shape or form for responsible for 450 people losing their job, because I'm not. I'm just not. This is not me that's got them the sack, and I don't appreciate mine or my teammates' role in that. Why are we sharing the blame as a football club? It's almost like we're all in it together, lads. Let's share the blame. No, fuck off. I'm sorry. I'm not sharing the blame on this one. And if I was a player, I'd be going, I'm sorry. Why are we being referenced in relation to people losing their job? Like, yes, we've been shit. Yes, we can be better, but we haven't sacked anybody. We've not been called into the office and said, do you agree with these sackings? We haven't sacked anybody. That's not on us at all. And I know there'll be people in the chat saying, yeah, Mark, but it's because we've not been good on the football pitch. Since when? You can't, like I said at the start of the video, you can't have your cake and eat it. The general message has been there's been a strategic review, and Ineos have decided there's a lot of deadwood in the football club that they don't want there anymore. They're getting... Take the hint of what I've just said. There's always a pathway. Redundancy is different to sackings. Redundancy is removing a role. We don't need that role anymore. So if you're making people redundant, they've been working on this for quite a while. You can't then say, we're making these people redundant because the team's not very successful. Because that means you do want the role, you're just getting rid of the role to save money. Well, we are getting rid of the role to save money, but we're getting rid of the role to save money because the club wants to streamline their business to make it more profitable. This is not about success on the pitch. This is about Ineos and the Glazers wanting to cut the workforce in half. Simple explanation is, if we'd won the league last year, do you think 450 people wouldn't have been sacked? No, absolutely not. They would still be sacked because Ineos and the Glazers are looking at efficiency savings to save money, to make the club more profitable, so the club is more valuable. It's got nothing to do with success on the pitch. This is about cutting costs to make the club more profitable, to make it more valuable to them, the owners, for whatever plan they've got. So blaming it on the players, or Ruben Amorim blaming it on the players, or Ruben Amorim taking any responsibility, is akin to let's all share the blame together. And what prat has agreed to do that? I don't know why Amorim's doing that. I don't know why he's doing it. So look, I maybe didn't explain it that well, but what I'm saying is, you can't be coming out like Amorim is doing, saying that these people are getting sacked because we've not been successful on the pitch. Because that would make it out like the club's about to go bankrupt and we've just got to do drastic things to survive. But that's not what we've been told. And that doesn't fit in with the way this club's been run. What we've been told is we've got an inflated, bloated workforce and we need to cut it down to make it more efficient. That's not about success on the pitch. That's about cutting costs. So it's got nothing to do with the players. If anything, the players will know a lot of these people that are losing their job as well. So I think it's insensitive. And I very rarely would stick up for the players, but it's not the players sacking people, it's Ineos sacking people, and they've sold it as efficiency. We don't need these people. So don't make out that if we were top of the league, we'd suddenly go, we do need them. That's never been what it's been sold as. So you can't have your cake and eat it. And I absolutely do not understand why the manager would be mentioning the players unless he's just doing it to protect the owners. And if you're doing that, it's a bloody dangerous game. Really understand what's going on at this football club and just keep yourself to your football. Don't start defending Sir Jim Radcliffe and the Glazers, because that's not going to go down well, is it? He's just got to stay out of it. And also, I think that either the club think we're all idiots and they've briefed Amorim wrongly, or they don't care how they've briefed Amorim. They just want to muddy the waters so that some people actually do think it's the players' fault. And it's blame shifting. It's as simple as that. It's blame shifting. I'll have a pop at the players for a lot of things, but I'm not having a pop at the players for people losing their job. Because this is not because we've not qualified for the Champions League. This is because they've decided that they don't want them people anymore, and that's why they're making them redundant. I mean, look, in a more simple way, the Glazers are greedy. And if somebody says, there's £10 million, we could spend £5 million and half the workforce, they're going to go half the workforce because I've just saved £5 million for myself. And that's what this is all about. It's cost cutting to make the club profitable, which benefits them. I hope Vival can find value and quantity in the early mid-20s profile. Ranić understood what was needed, and hopefully Vival is the same mind, says James. Slow Sports News says, why is Amorim even answering these questions? What the hell is the financials to do with him? This is not his role to answer. And I agree, Slow Sports News, because actually he should have just kept his mouth shut, because what he's actually done is misread the room, been inaccurate, and got it completely wrong. If Ineos had come out and said, we need to sack these people because the club's not been very successful and that's why we need to sack them, then you know, okay, I still think it's bloody harsh. What's that got to do with the players? Why would it be the players' fault? The club bought the players. The club gave them stupid wages. The club gave them stupid contracts. I'll tell you what, if I'm Mason Mount and I'm responsible for people losing their job, I'm going to put my hand up and say, I can't help them injured. And also, you gave me 250 grand a week on a 5-year deal. If that leads to people being sacked, it ain't my fault. You know, if I'm Rasmus, I'm going to put my hand up and go, look, you spent 70 million quid on me. I'm not playing particularly well. I'm not scoring goals, but it ain't me sacking people. You bought me. So it's on you every single time. When Liverpool had Hicks, we made a viral video that rallied the fans against Hicks. Maybe it's something United fans can do. Check it out. It's called Dear Mr. Hicks. I feel for you, says Yusuf. I am gonna check that out, actually. Amorim needs to play a back four, says Gary Neville. Mark, why is it all the managers come here on fire, then buckle to the ownership at press conferences if they're scared? It's sad to watch. I think this is a great point by Parker as well. I haven't watched the press conference today, so I can't pass comment, but we certainly noticed Ten Hag in press conferences year one compared to start of year two was incredible. The difference was incredible. And I don't want to see a watered down Amorim. It's the only good thing we've got. Anand says, what happens if Ineos sack Amorim? Well, mate, if they sack him, they sack him, don't they? Mojo, welcome to the Members Club. He's back. Hope you're doing well. I just signed up and got the email confirmation, says SL. I know a load of people tried to get the email confirmation before. If you want to be part of the survey, make sure you sign up for the survey, and the email confirmation thing has been sorted now. The survey won't be going out with the email confirmation, but you will get it by the end of the week. I'll tell you when that goes out. Let's talk about Osimhen. So, I haven't got that long, actually. Right, okay, let me talk to you about Osimhen. So, this came out today that Victor Osimhen wants to join Manchester United. Isn't that great? Oh, hallelujah. Victor Osimhen wants to join Manchester United. Oh, you know what? It's almost like it's spin. It's almost like it's perfect, isn't it? Victor Osimhen wants to join Manchester United. You'll note no video on the United stand, breaking news, Victor Osimhen wants to join Manchester United. We'll leave that to everybody else who can't be asked to do anything about what's going on at the football club. But we'll bury it in this show where there's more important things to talk about. But Victor Osimhen wants to join Manchester United. Then TalkSport have reported that Napoli are interested in taking Rasmus back, but it would be at a massively reduced cost. And I get to the point where I just sort of like go, oh, why? Why do we even bloody bother? So Victor Osimhen, who's scoring goals for Galatasaray, has decided in February, just when Glazer's under a load of pressure, that he wants to join Manchester United. Okay. And then Napoli have rung up TalkSport and said we'd take Rasmus back. And then you naturally lead to Osimhen for Rasmus swap. The way journalism works is like this. Napoli haven't spoken to Manchester United about Rasmus Højlund, and Manchester United haven't spoken to Napoli about Rasmus Højlund. That conversation hasn't taken place. What's happened is somebody has gone 2 + 2 is 5. Now, if you knocked on the door of Napoli and said, would you take Rasmus Højlund back at a vastly reduced price? They're going to say yes. Of course they are. Absolutely. If we knocked on PSG's door and said, do you want Ugarte back for like 15 million? They'd probably say yes. I mean, it's not breaking news, is it? It's logical news. And the only reason it's been put out there is to stir shit, to distract, to take people away from something else, to create clicks for a load of shit. There's just no way that's going to happen. I'm sorry, I've just completely realised that Rasmus played for Atalanta. I'm an idiot. But my point is, that suits it even better. If you're offered a player at a vastly reduced price, then of course you're going to do that business. I mean, he didn't do particularly badly in Serie A with Atalanta, and Napoli would be looking at getting him for about 20, 30 million pounds. So of course you'd be interested in having a chat when you're getting somebody really, really cheap. And what people forget as well is that Napoli know we're desperate. Everybody knows that we're desperate for money. So, of course, they're going to go and try and do some real cheap deal if they're being offered. But what irritates me about it is, again, it's the 25th of February and we've still got 3 months of the season left. And Osimhen's still got 3 months of the season left at Galatasaray. And we're talking about things that are absolutely irrelevant to what's actually happening right now. We have a number of key games coming up in the next couple of weeks that will define everything from Amorim's future to certain players' future to Manchester United's future to our summer transfer budget. If we lose to Real Sociedad and Fulham, we are actually screwed, in my opinion. We'll have to sack everybody. We won't have any money. So why the hell are we talking about selling this player at a reduction? I mean, can I just remind you as well? For financial fair play purposes, we need 40 million minimum for Rasmus Højlund. Otherwise, it goes down on the books as a loss, which we will absolutely not do. So this is what I mean about shit journalism and distraction journalism, because you can just write a story that is not based in reality at all, that gets people talking, and actually, again, like Patrick Lynch says, do your bloody research. It's like saying, it ain't working with Amorim, they need to go back to a back four. Like 1 win in Ten Hag's last 8, we've had 5 wins in Amorim's last 8. So it's definitely working better, and it's the system he wants to play. And, oh, Napoli are interested in Rasmus on a reduction deal. Yeah, we can't sell him for less than £40 million. Otherwise, it goes down as a loss on FFP. So we're not going to do that either. So, you know, it's just sort of like, it irritates me because there are really big issues going on at Manchester United. And as per usual, the media couldn't give a shit. They'd rather spin and distract because that's what they love about Man United, the ability to latch on to gullible fans and spin us away from wherever they want so that they can benefit from it. And it doesn't serve a purpose. It doesn't help us. If anything, it just dilutes the real conversation, which is our club's in a bloody mess. And how the hell are we signing Quenda and Osimhen? Where is the money coming from for that? I know Osimhen's got a year left on his contract, and maybe he does want to come and play for Manchester United, but how are we going to afford this? Like, where does the money come from this? But, oh no, it doesn't matter. Let's forget about what we're doing to people's jobs and how the club is in an absolute shit show. We're going to buy Osimhen in the summer, and everything's going to be all right. Yeah, bullshit. I wonder if Osimhen can fix a broken ownership, fix the dressing room toxicity and play as 8 players at the same time for 40k a week. Then he'd fix this, says Andre. Look, Andre makes a great point. I like Osimhen. I like Gyökeres. There are other strikers I quite like that we've been linked to, but not one of them solves our problems. They just don't. They just don't. I mean, imagine you had Osimhen up front on Saturday against Everton. What's he going to do? Put on a bloody Harry Potter cloak and, you know, invisibly go and get the ball and run up the pitch with it underneath, and then suddenly it's in the back of the net and he's pulling it off going, yes! It's not... We need a striker, but if that's it, we're screwed. Like, we absolutely have got to build a team that can create for that striker. And I haven't seen a Man United side do that for 7 years. Even though Ronaldo scored 18 Premier League goals, I think it was absolutely bloody incredible because the service wasn't that good. It's as sure as daylight, Mark. We won't be in Europe next season. Ineos know, and they're already making plans. Don't care for Ineos, but this is sad, says David Ezzy. Cutting costs while paying high dividends is typical, says Genghis Khan. Thank you very much for that as well. Look, I got to shoot because I'm live at 8:30. So check out Manscaped. Code is TUS20. Link is in the video description. Fantastic show tonight. Sorry it wasn't an 8 o'clock show, but I will be over on That's Football Live for all the 7:30 games. Well, you know, sometimes a shorter show is a good show. If you're not watching live, then obviously leave your comments in there. Some interesting stuff to digest. But of course, don't forget, we've got our fan survey coming out very soon as well. Link is in the live chat. We'll pin it in the video description as well. Make sure you get signed up for that, and we'll be in touch with that very, very soon. Thank you everybody for watching. If you want to join me on That's Football, I suppose it's a bit of a Rashford watch again because I'm doing Villa Crystal Palace as well as Brighton Bournemouth, Chelsea Southampton and Wolves Fulham. I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.